this is the best time to be in IT or technology because every company from transportation to healthcare to utilities to entertainment has become a tech company now.
Welcome to Technovation. I'm your host, Peter High. My guest today is Rashmi Kumar. Rashmi is the Global Chief Information Officer of Medtronic, a global healthcare technology leader that earns in excess of $32 billion in annual revenue. Rashmi's been in her role for roughly 2 years, and in it, she is in the process of helping to reorient the company to be a digital-first enterprise. She's also focused on hyperautomation and on leveraging advances in artificial intelligence. I look forward to hearing more about these topics and more through this conversation. Rashmi also sits on the board of Myriad Genetics and is a past Chief Information Officer of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, as well as a former CIO of McKesson's U.S. Pharmaceuticals business. Rashmi, welcome to Technovation. It's great to speak with you today.
Same here. So great to see you, Peter.
Thank you so much. Well, let's begin with your business, if you would. You are the CIO of Medtronic. For those who may be less familiar with it, please provide an overview of Medtronic's business, if you would.
Yeah, that's a great discussion because it's amazing how we treat 75 million patients every year and how people relate us to different parts of the solutions or the medtech solutions that we have for our patients. So Medtronic is a global leader in medical technology focused on improving health and quality of life for patients. We are the largest medical devices company, fully integrated, where we make a wide range of devices used to meet conditions in areas like cardiac care, diabetes, many things related to brain, as well as products which enable surgery. But if you think about the way I have thought across our 18 operating unit, 73 therapies that we have, we are really a company which understand how to navigate human body, how to create the right imaging solution, and then deploy products in human body which extends life in a consistent basis. We help treat many health issues such as if you look at pacemaker, which is for the cardiac rhythm, or it is structured heart, which is valves, or our ability to navigate the stent to a part of the heart, as well as Parkinson's disease through our cranial and spinal technology, chronic pain management, diabetes, continuous glucose monitoring, as well as the pump. We are the only fully integrated solution provider for type 1 diabetes. We are also in over 150 countries, offering products used by hospitals and healthcare providers across the world. We are known for creating new medical technologies such as robotic surgery, minimally invasive treatments, as I talked about, understanding the navigation inside the human body, as well as now enable everything with digital and technology health solution. We have 4 main portfolios around diabetes, cardiovascular, neurosciences, and medical surgical. As I mentioned, 18 operating units. I'm not going to name all of them, but they are organized around these portfolio. And our mission, we are celebrating our 75 year this year, is to just 6 simple words: alleviate pain, restore health, and extend life.
A very good summary there. I really appreciate that. And talk a bit about your role as CIO, and I'd love to, perhaps in the telling of that, talk a bit about how IT is itself organized in light of the 18 operating units and the diverse array of businesses and geographies that you described as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of insight there, right? Because I've been in many different companies, understanding different operating models and what is the best operating model for IT. My philosophy has been, because I've done even consulting for IT, is not to continue changing IT organization based on business organizations. Business organizations are built to be successful in silos so that they can drive their solutions for the need to satisfy the needs of customers in a very focused way, as well as meet their financial targets. Versus organizations like IT, which is kind of the digital centerpiece of the company, is to drive the play big approach across the company. And in our situation where we have 4 portfolios, 18 operating units, it's even more important. So when I look at the Chief Information Officer role, it's a mix of how business is operating and organized, where they're going in future, but at the same time, how do I bring in a matrix manner the IT value chain and create that overlap between the two? I've also seen that very vertical IT aligned with business units is done when we don't have very capable workforce in IT versus the matrix where you need highly capable workforce in IT. Because then making the matrix work becomes the high priority and that delivers result. So I have all typical roles of providing operational excellence, end user for 100,000 employees for 300 different locations, network, data center. But the way I look at it is how do I do what's, I call it hamster on the spin wheel, or the lights on activity in the most optimized and efficient manner for the company so that I create capacity, discretionary ability to be able to drive continuous digital transformation in the organization. And it takes a lot of grit and vision in mindset, execution powers to be able to continue changing the culture of the company to make it a technology company. This is the best time to be in IT or technology because every company from transportation to healthcare to utilities to entertainment has become a tech company now, right? And we are at the middle of it. So I would say twofold approach. Continue running the operations, make sure we are getting our customers and patients what they need, but at the same time, how do I think long-term and transition overall organization of Medtronic to be a digital-first organization?
Very interesting. As you think about digital first, what are some of the key elements of that tell you that you're on the pathway to accomplishing it? How do you convey that to your team and to the broader organization?
The moment we take friction out from our employees' day-to-day work and from our customers' ability to engage with us. And it does not matter if an employee is an IT employee who is trying to get at the minimal level, a purchase order approved to get some work started on a project versus a salesperson who is out in the field supporting our healthcare providers versus a patient who has a device and trying to learn something about it more or have a complaint. How do we create all three scenarios and take friction out of it? And there is no end state because it's continuous improvement, right? If we improved the way our patients reach out to us to lodge their complaint, get support, solve their problem, possibly in one go, our next stage would be how that complaint never happens in the future through the use of technology. So going from self-healing approach to proactively knowing that this device is going to malfunction, right? And I personally feel that when we are working on those to prevent it in future is a stage where we have achieved higher level of capabilities in terms of technology for our employees and for our sales team or our customers.
And well said, well articulated, Rashmi. I know among your priorities is the need for continued hyperautomation, and I wonder if you could describe why and to what end, how you've been accomplishing that.
Yeah, so one of my colleagues used this example, which I really liked. So if you look at Roger Federer, who most of us are a fan of, a fine sports person, when he gets on the fields and plays his game, it takes a lot to get to that point. And he has a team behind him analyzing what shoes he wears, at what tension his racket is strung, what food he eats during the day, what kind of medical attention he needs. And then he goes and performs. The same is true for, say, Fernando Alonso, who races for Aston Martin on Formula One. I got an opportunity to meet him and asked, what percentage of it is car and the pit crew and the technology versus your driving? And he said it's 70-30. So it takes a lot of augmentation through technology for anybody to be successful, to be able to drive that performance that they need to. And that's how I think about hyperautomation. we need to get these capabilities and tools in terms of using the technologies like AI, Gen AI, automation to make our people more efficient. We can automate repetitive tasks and take people away from the things that they don't want to do. And at the same time, as I mentioned, self-healing, it comes from our ability to analyze large amounts of data and drive intelligence beyond what a human can do. So if we talk about, and customer care or HR automation has been the top use cases for AI and Gen AI. So we have an AI-powered chatbot like Sam for HR and Robin for customer service. These are digital employees to provide quick help to our employees or customers. AI helps us predict how our customers and employees are engaging with us, what are the trends, what kind of problems they come to us, and improve our services as well as our decision making around prioritization of the services that we invest more in. Hyperautomation helps us definitely save time, make our people more efficient, and make better decisions around where do we want to go. We also use machine learning models powered by old school AI tools, not Gen AI, like Python, Cloudera, Snowflake, Power BI, to predict quantity issue before shipment, to reduce overshipment waste and improving our operations. Everybody talks about Copilot. Everybody talks about ChatGPT, cloud, and Bedrock at AWS. All these improves our content creation abilities. Our Copilot improves our ability to email faster, better, with a content which sits well with our stakeholder. And overall, it helps us save time, improve efficiency, better decision making. I still feel, though, what I said in the beginning, that this is just a start. We need to stay at it, keep driving the culture change, keep driving the education, because there is a lot that we can do to focus more on innovation and product development and take the waste out of our day-to-day work.
Well, as you've introduced AI as a topic in Gen AI, I know that these are, as you note, areas of emphasis. And I'd love to talk a bit more about where you've invested, what excites you as you look to the future relative to these topics. Can you delve a little bit deeper than you already have into those topics, please?
Yeah, so we had a AI and automation center of excellence within IT, but as Gen AI was released, like many times, many of my CIO colleagues has faced it, that these technologies start taking hold in business first before IT gets to it. And then we have way too many of those across different organizations. And now we are calling them shadow IT and trying to consolidate and integrate, but they have taken deep hold into it. This time, with my leadership team, we were ahead of ourselves. We were able to bring in a discipline around the platform. We worked with our partners, most of the hyperscalers, as well as Microsoft, and we were able to create a platform called gpt.medtronic.com, where anybody can go and leverage the Gen AI platform. We also have very well-defined 6 different patterns. When do you use Copilot? When do you use Bing Copilot? When do you use our gpt.medtronic.com? And we are trying to enable both types of use cases. We are trying to enable efficiency-driven use cases where our functions are doing their work better. The examples are complaint handling and quality, customer care, HR. But at the same time, how do we bring in AI on the product and therapy, as well as creating new solutions like robotic-assisted surgery? Imaging is going to play a huge role in healthcare. And if you see our product called GI Genius, which is a partnership where we are able to prove that an image recognition and Gen AI based platform can't recognize polyps better than a GI doctor. So looking at the opportunities both on the product side and internal side, we have made significant progress by leveraging the cutting edge technologies, as well as focused on automating repetitive tasks, but enable our products to be able to leverage that as well. There's a lot of announcement this week at reInvent as well around imaging. Imaging is becoming a big deal everywhere. And we have a specific use case to use it. We're excited about the continued potential to transform our business, as well as the future. As I said, we need to stay at the journey and realize these immense possibilities which is available for us in the future. Hope that gives you the detail that you're looking for.
It does. No, I think it's really great. I wanted to ask you about your team and how you think about all this changing. You're mentioning for very good reason numerous innovations that abound. You talked about developing a digital first orientation. There was a lot of cultural change associated with this, certainly. And as you think about talent management and helping people reach their potential, especially given the fast pace of change, what are some things that come to mind in terms of practices to bring that to life?
Yeah, so at the leadership level, we have to be maximizers, really to understand what people are really great at and how do we enable them to do more of it at a very efficient level. At the same time, understand as the world change at an insane speed from technology and digital perspective, not only IT, but also business people, around what education they need, both from technology perspective, but as well as the business process perspective and as a personal development perspective, to be able to deal with blockers that gets posed in front of us. We are a healthcare company. We work in a very regulated environment. Cyber compliance, all that is very important for us as a brake so that we can drive faster, right? The approach we had for a long time, as we hit blockers, we wait for somebody else to remove it. New leadership is, how do you learn how to, if you cannot remove the blocker, how do you meander around the blocker in a right way to be able to get to the end results anyway? COVID, with a lot of virtual work, has also introduced the challenge of we are losing human connection. So how in this large company, which is in every country of the world, hundreds of offices, still create that glue between our employees? How do they know what other groups do, what offering they have, how we can reach out to them? I did a customer sat survey earlier this year, and I didn't get a very good score, I'll be honest. But when I look inside and see what's really causing the heartburn, it's primarily understanding of who we are, who they can reach out to, or how they can reach out to us, and what will be the process once they engage with us. So just bringing that transparency in a very complex world of global footprint, but people to understand, hey, if you get to this point, you will get the support that you need from our team members. And then definitely just having the right amount of tension in the digital programs that we do, that we are not overstaffed, over-resourced. Nobody is in this day and age, but the targets that we set are a little audacious, so that people feel excited about achieving it. And, even if we miss a little bit of the target, we are higher than where we would have been if we did not set that audacious goal for ourselves.
That's very interesting and well articulated. I wanted to ask you, I know that you not long ago established a global IT center in Hyderabad, and I wondered if you could talk a bit about the work that is done there and how you think about the distribution of global work given the global nature of your business.
Yeah, that's a great question in this day and age for global companies like us. So if we look at the reason for a global company like us to be all around the globe, the first one is the access to talent and the skill IT workforce. We were already in Hyderabad as a set of R&D initiatives, as well as we bring in our doctors to train there. So if you look, I talked about imaging, so we have a solution called O-Ring. A lot of Hugo, our robotic-assisted surgery device development goes in there. Our cardiac care link team is there. So when I visited that center, I thought that could be an accelerator for me. I had experience building IT teams in Bangalore, But this seems like the right thing, because if you look at a location like India, the kind of smart people who are there, they drive a lot of effort and performance in our IT development, but they are big on purpose. And we are not a known brand like Google or Facebook or even TCS or Infosys. But when we sell our purpose to them through the tours to these R&D labs, they feel excited because that gives them that additional purpose. So our efforts with the government of Telangana had already created a great environment for businesses to grow, making it a perfect place for me to latch onto and to grow us, right? So it also, so one is talent, second part is the follow the sun and the productivity. And then third would be global regions is the fastest growing region from revenue perspective for Medtronic. So really having workforce close to our customers in the geographic region also, not specifically India, I'm talking across the board of our Eurasia region. So those three goals was the, and with that, the Global Capability Center is the first large IT center Medtronic has opened outside of here. We are investing $60 million to create almost 300 new jobs. I think we are up to 130 in that in last year or so. And then we will focus on many new technology like cloud engineering, artificial intelligence, bringing in open source databases, automation, digital health, and all our operational efforts around network operations center, security operations center, day-to-day operations, as well as work in areas like data analytics, software development, and cybersecurity. It'll help us improve productivity, enable us to tap onto the talent that's there, and then just grow our capabilities in IT. It's just been an exciting journey to be attached with that initiative.
I want to ask you also, you've achieved something that I know a lot of your peers have as a goal, which is to join a board of a major company, in your case, Myriad Genetics. And I wonder if you could talk about your pathway towards board membership and what you have gained from joining a board while still being an operational executive.
Yeah, those are two very kind of dense questions. But as I was growing in my career almost 10, 11 years ago, I came in touch with a group of executives who happen to be women, who used to meet at a regular basis. And we were like, okay, we need to do something more than just meeting as a dinner group, right? And you would know them. They ended up becoming Athena Alliance. But as Coco was building Athena, I got really busy because I got the CIO role at McKesson. But it kind of stuck with me that there is an opportunity for me to contribute more as a professional if I could get on a board. And then I decided to join Hewlett Packard Enterprise, where we were going through massive transformation, consolidating 17 ERP into one S4, migrating 4 data centers to a private cloud environment, pivoting the company's business model to as a service. So I got truly sucked into enormous amount of work, and it kind of took a backseat. But these programs help. HPE had a program called Ready Now. So HPE's board is 55% female, and Antonio with board members had an initiative called Ready Now, where they took SVPs and above from the company and enabled them just to get a glimpse into what it means to be a board member. And that prompted me to write my bio and board bio and a board resume, which I shared with my sponsors and mentors outside. And long story short, this happened within 3 months of me thinking and writing my board bio. So I did get lucky. The point is, though, Myriad fulfilled my passion. My coaches did tell me that, hey, you can look for a bigger board. And I'm like, you know what? That's in the operational road. When I'm doing my job, my board role, I want it to be for the passion. And Myriad Genetics is a company which was founded by the Nobel laureate who was awarded Nobel Prize for linking BRCA genes to ovarian and breast cancer. So my mom at that time exactly was fighting cancer. I lost her. She lost the battle and we don't have her amongst us. But that kind of touched that it was the point in time that Myriad role came across, and I'm so thankful for making that decision to be there. One part is the professional development and growth, right? I see the breadth of opportunities that our executive teams needs to go from investor to innovation to operations to human resources and people topics. But at the same time, just learning from the board members who are on that board, and they are extremely knowledgeable either from peer perspective, operations perspective, pharma company perspective, or just pure chief medical officers of large payers in the past. So I would say I have been able to contribute tremendously. That's what I'm told by our board colleagues, because of the cyber and IT and digital transformation being such a big deal for Myriad Genetics as well. But I think my end of the bargain has been bigger, where I have learned more because of the coaching that I get from fellow board member and the vantage point that I get to see a company from end to end.
Very, very interesting. And thank you so much for sharing some more details about your pathway there. I know that will be of great interest. I wanted to ask a little bit more about your pathway to a technology. It's been a non-traditional one. In fact, you began your professional journey as a metallurgical engineer, and I believe your first job was actually at a steel company making steel. Talk a bit about the pathway from those early experiences to the one that put you on the pathway to be a multiple-time chief information officer.
Yeah, and first thing I would say is that first job in a large manufacturing company and the way the company ran their training program, where to a 22-year-old, I had the opportunity to understand end-to-end value chain of a company. So when Tata Steel hires engineers from undergrad programs, they put them for a year-long training. And it goes from starting the supply chain, where we go to the mines, coal mines, lime mines, iron ore mines, to the whole process of sinter making, to iron making, to steel making, to mills. But at the same time, the functions. So we were taught how finance works, how construction project works, how electrical department works, how automation department, how R&D works. So I got this amazing opportunity in my very first year of my career to really understand the working of a large company end to end. It was just fully dedicated training. And it wasn't just rotation that you go to 3 different organizations. It's well structured. We had curriculums and we have to pass exams and secure grades, just learning about the company. And Tata Steel is very serious about that cadre because their CEOs come from that cadre typically. 80% of their CEOs are built from that cadre. So it helped me to learn driving business outcome from the very beginning, that there is no work in the company that's a bean counting job just to do that. End of the day, it needs to link to the bigger purpose of why a company exists. But then the other part of your point about engineering, right? So when I came out of there, I had the opportunity to go to the computer engineering group of that organization, because Tata Steel was one of 4 companies in early 90s to have mainframe computer. And they were digitizing their business processes at that time. But I was really a very proud engineer. And I'm like, I've studied steel making. I want to be in steel making. So for 6 years, I went there. But you know what? Because I never felt that till that day that I could not do something. I wanted to work on the steel making shop floor. But I wouldn't be put there because I have to go there at any time of the day. And there are different type of labor which is present on the work. So executives wouldn't take that risk. But when I was very persistent about being in steelmaking, they decided to put me in research and development division, which had both the R&D lab part of it as well as the factory part of it. And that introduced me to computer science, and I started developing heat and mass transfer models for steel making and iron making. And that kind of enabled me to understand that I was really good in technology. And I think engineering training itself makes you a very strong problem solver, right? You can take a problem, big problem, break it into pieces, solve it in pieces, and then pull it together as a puzzle, right? But then I realized as I was growing as a engineer, and then I transitioned into technology because my husband and I made a family decision to move to the US. And that was the best way you could come in, because after working for 7 years, I didn't want to go to the school just for school. I wanted to continue working. And as I had retooled myself into technology and programming, I was able to secure a role and came here. And then my husband and I decided, after being here for another 6 years, that I'm ready to retool myself as a leader through some management education. So I went to do MBA, and I still think that was a big turning point in my career, because it's still hard and I'm still exercising and still learning, because as an engineer, you are a person about answers. As a leader, you need to be a person about questions, which again enables for being more inclusive, bring your leadership team, bring your team together to get to a better solution that I can imagine alone. So I would say my engineering knowledge, my first job and the training that I had on the first job, and then my management knowledge, which made me aware of my blind spot and how do I work on my blind spot to get better every day, has created this blend of knowledge and personality, which enables me to be a better CIO every day. I hope I'm able to answer your question, because there's a lot of passion there.
No, in a very good way. I love hearing the passion come through. So thank you for that. I was going to ask you, we've talked about numerous trends through the conversation. Are there any others as you look to further into 2025 that particularly spark your interest, that are on your roadmap?
So I would say I'm super bullish on technology and what technology can do for us. And behind in mind, I have that hunch, right? What happens to people? We went through industrial revolution, we went through steam engines, we went through electrification, we went through industrialization, and we have gotten better. So you know what? Gen AI can get more intelligent than me, but guess what, Gen AI? I'll get more intelligent than you during that part as well, right? So I'm really excited about if you look at healthcare, right? If you look at the two solutions we have, one is the robotic assisted surgery, but the other is digital surgery. We have thousands of hospitals using our digital surgery kit, where we are able to stream a surgery from an operation theater to other doctors in any part of the world, which we can use for education. But our digital surgery app is the most used healthcare app today in the world, because people not only use it for real-time surgery, they use it for also educating themselves and understanding, as well as the doctors at the time of surgery, they don't have to take all the notes to understand what's happening, what went where. They can go back and annotate and look at, and then we can take all these surgeries and create a surgery teacher or something out of that, because we have so many repetitive events and data available with our robotic surgery. So why I'm telling you all this is the healthcare access. With the technology-enabled, AI-enabled healthcare therapies, people who don't have access, people who don't have doctors to go to, can now get help from doctors who are sitting in other part of the world, as well as the doctors who are advising without having a human in the middle, for the people who have nothing, right, at this point in time. That's a huge one for us, as well as what human potential we can realize who are building these solutions and therapies and technologies, and how do we grow talent within the company who can think in these terms and build the solutions which are not only for a human touch, but also for human touch with technology at the same time. So, and just I call it digital exhaust. The more and more we hyper automate, the more and more we bring in technology in healthcare, we get more data for us to be able to develop better solution. Access is one thing, as well as having the information and the data for all demographic. Women respond to a treatment differently than men. People from different region respond to a treatment different than people from different region. Jeff Martha talks about reaching 1 billion patients at this point. I think if we play right, if we build the right therapies, build the right talent, we should be able to reach all 8 billion patients in the world, right? Because each person is a patient at some point in time. So I'm really excited about the technology trend in healthcare. And it's exciting to see about see that how much investment is going on, because my board is now a healthcare board, and job is now a healthcare job. There is enormous amount of focus from leadership to continue growing and building the innovation in the R&D space as well.
Again, your passion comes through, and I greatly appreciate that. I wanted to also ask you, Rashmi, anything you've recently read, listened to, and or watched that you recommend to peers? Anything come to mind?
So my son has been very big on All In podcast, and I'll be honest, I have only listened to tidbits of it. Um, I'm huge on efficiency. My team knows, right, that I always say that every dollar that we get in IT is coming out of building a new therapy for a patient. You know, if I save a dollar here, it goes to serving R&D, which then builds with another groundbreaking technology. When I was at McKesson, Brian Tyler was, I think he was head of Europe at that time, but he used to say, because, McKesson works in very thin margin, but our purpose was, it's a patient, it's not a package, because we were a distribution company. But he always said that dollar saved is $100 sold, because they're so I'm huge on efficiency, and I believe this new trend around driving efficiency across the country has something in it. I wouldn't say I'm positive or I'm fully supporting, or I feel there is something. We all need to continue driving efficiency. So I'm listening to some of those leaders who are driving those, and I might be a convert on that. But I did watch Wicked over the Thanksgiving break, and it was a great relaxation from our day to day. And then, Peter, your books are behind you. I do recommend it to everyone, so I shouldn't
That's so
leave
kind.
without saying that.
Well, hey, Rashmi, thank you so much for a wonderful and dynamic conversation, emblematic of the remarkable work that you and your team are doing at Medtronic. Also, wonderful to hear more about your background and your early days that set you on the pathway to remarkable success in recent days. I'm grateful, as always, to spend time with you. So thank you again, Rashmi.
Thanks for the opportunity, Peter. It's always a pleasure.